Crawl space section and last part 5. This facility did have like 4 locations, so we did have to bring a ladder and kind of move around and enter these other access points. We did talk about in the other videos about safety, about timbers, hydronic piping. We talked about wood-boring insects, pipes, and other things. Now, a couple more important things. You never want to touch any conduits. You never know if they're hot. You never want to touch any low-voltage wiring, phone wirings, or cables. A lot of times you can snag a cable in a phone and just wipe out the facility's entire phone system, and you can shut down their computers, and that can be very costly, especially if they make a lot of money using their computers. So do not ever touch any wires. And you don't know if the wires are, live, dead. Just assume everything is hot, everything is alive. And what the real problem is that these low voltage people, like your phone people, your cable, your internet, your ethers, these people just kind of like throw the wires everywhere down there. They're not hanging there. There's no order, and you can snag them very easily with your equipment and your boots. So be very careful. So, in conclusion, a couple things you want to think about crawl spaces. Number one, if you can, you do want what's called a conditioned crawl space, not a vented crawl space. This today's example was a vented crawl space. Conditioned crawl spaces would mean perimeter insulation, a 100% sealed vapor barrier, heating, cooling, dehumidification, basically a full control environment. You want to treat your crawl space like a living room. Then the next thing is very important. You're looking for moisture intrusion. Is it hydrostatic, coming from the floor? Is it coming from the walls? Is it coming, from poor grading? Is there breaks in the line? Are there plumbing issues? And you also want to get underneath all the bathrooms and any area where there's any water to make sure that there's nothing dripping, leaking. A lot of times leaks can go unnoticed for a decade or more in a crawl space and then contaminate all the soil. You want to also look at your timbers and make sure that they're not deteriorated from either excessive moisture or even from wood-boring insects such as powder post beetles, termites, carpenter ants. You want to look at that. You want to look at dry rot. Chronically wet crawl spaces tend to have a lot of dry rot issues, so you want to look at that and bring a screwdriver too. You can probe your wood and see. You want to look for any type of insulation if it's installed improperly. You don't want to have insulation that's got vapor barriers that's causing water to trap where you're getting condensation. You also want to look at all your mechanicals and your ductwork. And the ductwork, if it's touching the dirt, well, it's going to tend to rust out much quicker, as you see in this photo here. So you want to definitely check that out. You want to check out all your plumbing pipes, your mechanical, and then duct leakage too. A lot of times ducts should be sealed so they're not sucking air. You do not want negative pressure on your cold air return in the crawl space either. That can cause other issues. And basically, you want to make sure that you have a nice crawl space that doesn't get wet, it doesn't smell. You want it to function. You want your hot water hot when it's supposed to be hot. You want everything insulated, your water pipes. If you've got hydronic systems, your steam or hot water, you want those pipes insulated. You want your ductwork insulated, and you want to have nice, easy access to the crawl space. And so inspecting your crawl space is very, very important. And even if you own a house with a crawl space, you need to get down there and periodically do inspection checkups to make sure there's nothing leaking or there's animals living down there and everything else. So thank you for watching this crawl space series. And if you missed one, you can go back and look at the others. This is Marko Vovk from Ambassador Consultants.